In New York City, 1881, a man escapes one more in the jam-packed roads. Inside he pays extra to send a wire express. A young fellow gets the message, his uncle is encouraging him to rush and save him. The young fellow goes to the uncle's huge bequest where a legal counselor makes sense of the uncle, John Carter, passed on unexpectedly and passed on everything to the young fellow. He passes the young fellow, Edgar Rice Burroughs, Darrell Sabera, an old journal. After the legal counselor leaves, the young fellow starts to peruse. The story starts in Arizona, after the nationwide conflict. John Carter, Taylor Kitsch, a beautified previous commander in the Confederate Armed Force, is prospecting for gold. Local people don't appear to like him. Colonel Powell, Bryan Cranston, of the Rangers attempts to squeeze Carter into administration to battle the Apache. Carter won't collaborate, and after a few bombed get-away-from endeavors, he deceives a cell watch, takes him out, and gets away from Stronghold Award on Colonel Powell's pony. Powell and the remainder of the cavalry give pursuit, however are compelled to end when they see that Carter has gotten together with a mounted Apache war band. The two sides are equipped and careful, and a language hindrance expands the strain. Before long a gunfight breaks out. Carter takes the risk to run off, yet Colonel Powell is shot. And Carter gets back to recover the harmed man. The two departure into a container gulch and track down a little cavern. The Apache approach yet immediately pull out when they see something on the stone over the cavern. Carter gets back to where the Apache had been standing. Leaving Powell close to the opening, he goes further into the cavern to examine. There Carter finds a chamber with peculiar markings, the walls and rooftop fixed with gold. Enchanted, he misses the more odd who shows up behind him, and Powell is past the time to yell an advance notice. The two battle, Carter figuring out how to shoot the bare outsider and notification that he had recovered a blue shining emblem. Getting it, Carter rehashes the words he heard the other say, and out of nowhere he stirs in a weird desert. Carter attempts to walk yet staggers and seems to drift. He endures a few minutes figuring out how to stroll in this odd new climate. He advances toward the close-by slope and finds a home of eggs incubating green six-limbed newborn children. Upset, he is going to leave when he sees a gathering of green animals drawing nearer. They are mounted on enormous monsters and furnished with guns. And when they see Carter they open discharge until one of them advises the others to stop. This tall green outsider with 4 arms sets out his blade and rifle and welcomes Carter. Tarkas realizes Carter is certainly not a nearby. Carter takes the risk to hop towards Tarkas' weapons, yet before he can battle he is overwhelmed. They take Carter to their home in the vestiges of an old city. The infants are delivered to the horde and whoever figures out how to get one will be the parent of the hatchling. Carter is given to Sola, she empties a fluid into his mouth. A while later, he can talk and figure out the nearby language. Someplace further away, a fight between humanoids is going on. On a red boat, 3 bear figures show up and move toward General Sab then, Dominic West. They give him a blue lattice gadget that empowers him to shoot electrical discharges, yet when he attempts to shoot the 3 figures he is rather impacted in reverse. The 3 figures giggle. They are Therns, agents of the goddess, and she has decided to agree with Sovereign Sab then of Zodanga in this contention. In the imperial castle of Helium, Dejah Thoris, Lynn Collins, is rehearsing a discourse. Her dad Tardos Moores, Ciarán Hinds, the Jedak of Helium, shows up contending with an escort. Dejah exhibits a machine that creates a feeble blue beam, something she calls the 10th beam, which she guarantees is the wellspring of their foe Zodanga's new power. As the escort examine the potential outcomes, one of them, a hidden Thern, carefully destroys the gadget, making it fall flat. Tardos comprehends that this power could assist with evening out the war zone, yet they have no chance to additional their examination into this strange blue beam. He excuses the gathering and tells Dejah she needs to wed Sab then to end the contention. Dejah is crushed, she realizes that the wedding is probably not going to stop Zodangan development, and that once hitched she would at this point not have the option to proceed with her examination. Back in Tharkville, Carter presently has a gatekeeper, Woola, a monstrous, wide-mouthed, low-to-the-ground animal that is extremely fast and demands following Carter like a canine, regardless of how high or how far he bounces. Carter is displeased, as he is attempting to track down Tarkas to recover the emblem, yet Woola can find him and make sufficient commotion to ruin Carter's arrangements. Carter hops in to stop the beating, unexpectedly killing a Thark. The Tharks consider Carter to be another weapon however resent Sola for permitting him to get away. The following day they brand her for her blunder before Carter, who watches with dismay as the Tharks caution her that her next offense will prompt demise since she has violated so often. The Tharks seek shelter when a guard cautions of flying art. 3 flying warships show up overhead. Tarkas watches with a telescope and clears up the battle for Carter. The Zodangans are battling the Heliumites. On the boat, Dejah Thoris endeavors to get away, then, at that point, falls and holds tight a few hundred feet up. Carter sees she is human and leaps to her salvage. With his capacity to bounce significant distances, he figures out how to save the young lady and begins to shield her, just for her to demonstrate her own ability to battle. In any case, Carter can reverse the situation of the fight. After this display, Tarkas makes Carter his Doter Sojut or right arms, and gives him Dejah Thoris as an award. Tarkas' opponent Tal Hajus, Thomas Haden Church, a champion with a wrecked tusk, on searches in irate objection. Carter is helped to remember Powell and denies the position, yet that's what Tarkas says, assuming Carter dismisses the proposition Tarkas would not be able to save Dejah's life. Dejah needs to figure out how to bounce as Carter can, yet calculates that the capacity is possible connected with Carter's different bone thickness and hence it wouldn't be an expertise she or any other person could learn. Carter simply needs to return home. He has a go at depicting his home to Dejah, however she thinks him either crazy or a liar since he portrays a climate that hasn't existed here for millennia. Seeing his earnestness, she surmises he is a Thurn, driving them to a conversation of space science. Lastly, the acknowledgement that Carter is from Earth, which she calls Jasum, however he is at present on Mars, which she calls Barsoom. On the off chance that there is without a doubt an approach to going between the universes, the Thurns will probably know the response. In spite of the fact that Sola attempts to stop them. Carter and Dejah Thoris enter a cavern that should be a sanctuary of the goddess and her supporters, the Thurns. Dejah peruses a few old markings, however before they can continue the 3 are captured by the Tharks for going into the sanctuary. Tarkas assists them with all getting away, at incredible individual gamble, and Carter surmises Sola is his girl. Taking into account that Thark custom is to bring forth their young in seclusion and back them secretly, there needed to have been a lot of regulation breaking included. Sola, Carter, and Dejah Thoris excursion to the Waterway ISS to address the sanctuary secret, taking the emblem. En route, Sola cautions Carter that Dejah Thoris is misleading them. Faced, she concedes they were set out toward helium, and an irate Carter makes to leave her as he understands she might have been controlling him to transform him into her new weapon. He overlooks Dejah's requests until she at long last concedes she had an individual interest in the fight, for she is the helium princess, prone to be offered to the Zodangan ruler and possibly killed. Carter persuades her that he wants time, and that they ought to go to ISS first. The stream is a way for explorers. The people who have trespassed or have lived too lengthy follow the waterway to take their lives and track down heaven. Sola, seeing what appear to be Tharks cruising ceaselessly in bodies on the ground, nearly goes along with them until Carter stops her. Up the winding stream they find a transformed pyramid structure. Carter and Dejah Thoris enter and sparkling blue designs show the planetary group. Dejah Thoris understands the blue light isn't powerful, however created by machines. It's the 10th beam, a similar blue beam she had been exploring and that the foe had been utilizing as a weapon. They likewise understand that Carter's appearance on Mars is probable because of transmission of a duplicate of himself from Earth to Mars. Outside, a multitude of Tharks approach, prompted by Matai Shang. He is interested about the more abnormal who is engaging with the conflicts, and means to test his capacity. As the swarms approach, Carter advises the others to escape. Over Dejah Thoris complains. He remains back to battle the rampaging armed force with just Woola to help him. Killing many, he is helped to remember the decimation of war, and tracking down his dead spouse and youngster in a consumed farmhouse. Carter is in the long run survived, similarly as a helium fight cruiser shows up above to end the battle. Tardos moors and Sab then land. Sab then offers his sword to Dejah Thoris as an indication of trust and requests that she wed him. Dejah Thoris nearly kills him at any rate, however stops herself and on second thought makes them take the injured Carter to Zodanga to be recuperated. Carter stirs in a protected room. As he muses on being in hostile area, a man wearing blue shows up and lets him know he is in Zodanga. The man is Kanto's Kan, James Purefoy, and he gives orders about putting Carter under higher security. When adequately close, he murmurs to Carter to kidnap him. However, Carter is excessively confounded, and an exasperated Kantos professes to be kept prisoner as he drives Carter away from the gatekeepers. The two leap to a close-by tower. Inside, Dejah Thoris is wearing wedding delicacy. Subsequent to saying thanks to Kantos for carrying Carter to her, she excuses everybody in the room. Again she requests that Carter battle on her side. Once more, he denies. Lastly she sees the wedding band on his finger. Understanding that his heart had a place with another, yet presently realizing that the other lady is dead, Dejah Thoris lets him know the enchanted words that will move him back to Earth. Outside, Zodangan monitors request section, yet when the entryway opens Carter has disappeared. Dejah Thoris and the others leave, yet the Lady of Chamber, Kate Fowler, gets back to the room, then he exits, and she utilizes a blue beam to immobilize him, then, at that point, changes into Matai Shang, the Thurn pioneer. He powers Carter to accompany him and make sense of how the Thurns are dealing with the finish of Mars. Then Shang changes into an older lady, Eileen Page, as they watch Dejah Thoris being strutted down a road. Daintily, Matai Shang lets Carter know that after the marriage Dejah Thoris and any other person who realizes about the 10th beam will be killed. Out of nowhere Woola shows up in a whirlwind, figures out how to handicap Shang's limitation, and Carter gets away from on the light flyer. After a hair-raising pursuit, he crash lands near Sola. Realizing he can't challenge the Zodangan military or the Thurns without anyone else, he chooses to get back to Tharkville and request their assistance. Carter and Sola show up securely, yet the Tharks toss Carter behind bars, where he tracks down a detained Tarkas, additionally in chains. Tarkas lets Carter know that he had been ousted by one-tusked Tal Hajus. Tarkas is incensed when he discovers that Carter brought Sola back, and would have killed him were not for the way that he had been beaten and radically debilitated. The detainees are then taken to an enormous stadium and made to battle Initial One, then a couple of Goliath white gorillas. Sola causes an interruption in the stands, which permits Carter to kill Initial One, then the other monster. As the Tharks cheer for him, he challenges Tal Hajus for the job of Jedak. Carter executes him with one flawless stroke. Presently the Jedak of the Tharks, he has a military able to battle for him. He leads them back to Zodanga to stop the wedding. Carter focuses to the carriers, yet the Tharks deny, so he takes off without help from anyone else in a light flyer. As the wedding function is going to get done, Carter crashes in. Dejah Thoris is excited to see him, yet it is past the point of no return as the sign had been projected. Yet again Zodangans start going after the Heliumites, and Matai Shang and his blue beam appear to be relentless. Out of nowhere a gigantic light cruiser crashes in as well, and the Tharks land to follow their chief. They enlist in the Heliumite armed force and fend off the Zodangans. Matai Shang get away, however Carter recuperates the emblem. During the battle, Sabthan is killed by the blue gadget he so beyond all doubt adored. With the quick danger of Zodanga gone and presently knowing where his heart is, Carter takes his wedding ring and requests that Dejah wed him. She concurs and both Helium and Thark celebrate. That evening Carter is fretful and gets out of the room. He throws the emblem into the ravine underneath. As he gets back to the bedchamber, the gatekeeper says thanks to him, and connecting, snatches him and movements into Matai Shang, to send Carter back to the cavern in Arizona. Carter arouses solid, dusty and whiskery. The colonel is nevertheless a skeleton, and the gold and the Thurn body are no more. Carter's account proceeds, as he understands there should be other Thurns on the planet, and goes through the following 10 years searching for another emblem. He seems to track down something in the Orkneys. He readies a sepulchre on his home so he can get back to Mars and leave his body protected on the planet. Nephew Edgar is to be endowed with protecting him, since almost certainly, the Thurns will go after his body. Astonished, Edgar hurries to check the sepulchre, not realizing he is being followed. Following a couple of tense seconds he sorts out the secret word to enter and opens the entryway, yet the grave is vacant. A Thurn shows up behind Edgar and is going to kill him, yet is shot dead. Edgar pivots to see Carter outside holding a firearm. Carter makes sense of he took a medication that caused it to give the idea that he was dead, and Edgar acknowledges he was just lured to draw out a Thurn and empower Carter to get the emblem he wants to return to Dejah Thoris. Carter remedies him, saying that Edgar is without a doubt going to assume a vital part, defender of Carter's body on Earth as he gets back to his actual home, on Mars. Taking the emblem from the dead Thurn, Carter goes into the sepulchre, rests and discusses the expression to get back to Barsoom.